Speaking of quarterbacks, there was a pretty interesting soundbite, a tale of two teammates, because Kyler Murray, who has been given a second life by the Minnesota Vikings, brought in there, had a pretty interesting conversation. Do we have the sound? Is it working? Let's see if it works.
It's been great. Obviously, I know he's a younger guy, so any way I can help him. Obviously, I feel like I've played 7 years now, going on 8. So I'm considered a veteran, even though I don't see myself as that. Give him any knowledge that he needs. Again, we're both competitors, and I know we both want what's best for the team.
Been receptive to hearing criticism?
Of course. Yeah, he's overly acceptive, and he's always communicating, asking questions, stuff like that. So it's been good.
JJ, what's your relationship been like with Kyler so far?
It's just like two guys in a classroom. He sits on one side, I sit on the other side, and it's the coach's responsibility to teach us and coach us. So,
is there any awkwardness between you two?
Awkwardness, it's just like the same feeling, when you're in high school and there's another person on the other side of the room. That's just kind of how it is. So I wouldn't say there's any awkwardness.
All right, so that obviously is J.J. McCarthy, who is now most likely the backup to Kyler Murray, who's been brought in there. This is so interesting to me because this is the dynamics of a quarterback room that start to unfold. And I've been in some good quarterback rooms and I've been in some bad quarterback rooms. There's a little bit of tension.
Sure.
There's guys that don't understand their roles. To me, J.J. McCarthy is struggling that his time with the Minnesota Vikings is most likely over, right? His time, his opportunity, it feels like it's past. They brought in your successor. There's been some rumblings that they're going to move on from him, maybe float him for a trade. And he is struggling to deal with that. And then you've got Kyler Murray, who is on top of the world right now. He's getting out of an organization that wanted to move on from him. He's looking to be that next Sam Darnold, that next Baker Mayfield, and he's got a place which has given him that opportunity. And I think he also is a seasoned veteran. Now, I've been hard on Kyler Murray. I'm curious to see how he does in this circumstance. But to me, this is the difference in a veteran who's secure in his space, knows his role in the team, and a young player in his second season who is really struggling to come to terms with where he is in his career right now.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. And real quick, shout out to Valuetainment Sports and Chris Mano here. He's an excellent guy. I love this podcast. They're approaching 10,000 subscribers. They're really off to a great start here in South Florida. He actually played ball for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, he knows his sports and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to the behind the scenes, the competition, all that kind of type of stuff. And what they're talking about in Minnesota is actually a very interesting dynamic because with J.J. McCarthy, he's a first-round draft pick. He won the NCAA College Football National Championship, played under Jim Harbaugh, obviously a great coach who's back in the NFL now. So he's got a great pedigree. Right? But at the same time, Kyler Murray won a Heisman Trophy. He was a first overall draft pick. He had some good years in Arizona, and he had the big contract already. So it's a very competitive situation. Obviously, you got a great coach in Minnesota that knows offense, and so these guys are neck and neck in the competition side of things. What's interesting to me is the way the media always tries to make it about feelings and emotions and how are you guys getting along. To me, that's just kind of trying to stir the pot a little bit, trying to create a story. But it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. There's a lot at stake in terms of Minnesota having a great offensive-minded head coach and also obviously having Justin Jefferson and some offensive weapons that are very desirable to play with.
With everything you just said. But the thing is this, we get on athletes for not telling the truth. And then we get on athletes for telling the truth. I'm going to be real honest.
Who do you believe?
I believe J.J. McCarthy. I think Kyler Murray's full of crap, and it's okay. But listen to me. I understand where J.J. McCarthy is right now, and how would you feel would you want to be best friends with the guy that they're telling you you've worked for this career since, Danny, you've worked for this since you're 4 years old, and in a matter of a year and a half, we're going to bring, you went from the hot girl in school, and we're going to bring in your replacement right now. Like, how much
Yeah, listen, but that's just, you got to understand that's just the nature of the NFL. It's the nature of sports at the highest level. When these guys are competing, J.J. McCarthy's rookie deal was probably $30 or $40 million guaranteed as a first-round draft pick. Kyler Murray has already had the big, nine-figure, $100, $200, $300 million deal, whatever amount of that he actually earned or whatever with bonuses and playing time. But, this is competition at the highest level. So, yeah, you could look at it like, he felt like the hot girl in school being the first-round draft pick, and a year and a half later, they're bringing this other guy in. But you also got to look at it like competition makes you better. Iron sharpens iron. And so I love the debate. Again, I love this podcast. They're doing big things, good things over there at Valuetainment Sports. Love the whole culture over there. They're approaching 10,000 subscribers, so give them a like, give them a follow. They do great, sports commentary. They talk about a lot of different topics. They do a great job with the shorts and with the videos. So, keep an eye on them. It's Valuetainment, so it's like value and entertainment. Valuetainment Sports, and they're located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Obviously, they do a great job with sports. Shout out to all you guys over there at Valuetainment Sports.